That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, guys, in a couple of weeks, we will be in the year that Superman is coming out.
Wow.
James Gunn, all due respect to Creature Commandos, which kind of what people are calling the soft launch of the DCU. The DCU really gets full going with the drop of the first film of the new cinematic universe from James Gunn and his partner Peter. Superman coming out in July. So excited about it. And everybody's talking about when are we going to get the first trailer? Probably before Christmas. I still think they should wait till Super Bowl, but whatever. Probably going to get that. We're probably going to start seeing a lot of images coming out. But now James Gunn and even fellow cast member Frank Grillo, who is the voice of Flag in Creature Commandos, and he's going to be playing the same character in Superman, are just coming out and raving about David Corenswet. Saying like he's the real deal. He's going to freak everybody out. Frank Grillo saying he is Superman. This comes to us. This is James Gunn talking about it, saying this. Superman is an enormous bear of a movie, Gunn said. It's completely different from this show in every way, but it's very much fantastic as well. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, David Corenswet is going to freak everyone out with how great he is. He is one of the best actors I have ever worked with, and he can do everything. The man is incredible. Now, that's the director of the film. Now, Frank Grillo, who has worked with a lot of guys, he's worked in the MCU as well. He said this, Henry Cavill, beautiful dude. I mean, God touched him on the shoulder and said, I'm going to make you handsome, he stated. But with David, there's something very Christopher Reeve about him. He's got a stoicism. There's a seriousness. First of all, I'm 5'10". The guy stepped out from behind the curtain with a suit on, and I was like, oh my God, you are Superman. Grillo said, of course, in person stature, because he's like 6'4", I think.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, he encompasses this aura. Superman to me was never morally derelict. Superman stood for something. He was steadfast. He was a naivete and a vulnerability about him. When I was watching Superman as a kid, and there's something about this guy, I don't know if I can articulate it, but I was like, oh, this guy is Superman. He's Superman, he concluded. Now, I remember when they first announced that Corenswet was going to be Superman, it caught a lot of people by surprise, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of us had never heard of him. I remember him from that show, Hollywood, that was on HBO. Was that the name of the show? I just keep calling it Hollywood, but I can't remember if that was.
Let me actually.
Yeah, that was that. Anyway, the HBO series that he did. That's the only real thing that I knew him from. Then recently we got to see him in a small role in Twisters, which it's like, wait a minute, that's Superman.
That's where I said,
I was sitting right beside you, and you're like, oh, that's Superman. I'm like, oh my God, it is.
That's a huge Superman. That's a very tall Superman. If I was in awe at his height in Twisters, imagine Grillo, Frank, seeing him in person. This guy is towering. So
yeah, super, like big guy, all that kind of stuff. He's got the stature. He's got like all that kind of stuff. So
are you talking about We Own This? No.
No. It was either.
No, it's called Hollywood.
It was called. Yeah, that was the name of the show. Yeah. Oh, but I'm being reminded by the guys online. It was on Netflix. It wasn't an HBO.
Oh, that's why.
It felt like an HBO series. Right. Anyway, but that's the only real thing I knew him from, and not a lot of people watched that show either. So like this was relatively a newcomer. Now we had Rachel coming in to be Lois Lane, and we all know her from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She's an Emmy Award-winning actress. She's going to be an awesome Lois Lane. I have no doubt about that. But not a lot of people are like, what are we getting with David as Superman? And hearing James Gunn raving about him is one thing, right? That's the director of the film. That's the head of the studio. Of course he's going to be raving about this guy. Frank Grillo, though, has always kind of been brutally candid. Even when you go back and look at his stuff in the MCU and other stuff, when you hear him talk about his former co-actors, his former projects, he's always been brutally candid. And so that's why when James Gunn made these comments the other day, I didn't make it a topic on the show yesterday. Because it's like, hey, it's the head of the studio. It's the director. It's the guy who wrote the movie. He cast David. Of course he's going to say nice things about him, right? But it's when that other interview came out with Grillo and started talking about that. By the way, he made those comments to Christian Harloff. That's where this is coming from. He had a conversation with Christian Harloff, and
Nice.
that's where these things are coming from. When Grillo comes out and starts saying, "Listen, man, I'm standing there," and he comes out, and he's 5'10". He's not a short guy. David Grillo, there he is. He's not a short guy, and he sees David come out towering over him, and he's just like, "You are Superman." And the performance is the same. And we heard Rachel gave comments about his performance. Listen, I don't want to fall into that fan trap of getting my excitement too high, or my expectation levels too high, or my hype level too high, because that happens to all of us as fans, and it often leads to us being a little bit disappointed. I don't want to fall into that trap, but it's happening.
Oh boy.
It's happening. I'm getting really,
Yeah, as long as you can admit it.
I'm getting really stupid excited for this thing right now, like really stupid excited. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what they're going on. And the comments to him are just like really standing out to me as being exactly the kind of thing I want to hear, right? I mean, it's better to hear this kind of stuff than more negative stuff, or, to hear some kind of cookie cutter studio answer or something like that. Again, the part to me that really excites me is Frank Grillo's comments. So, we'll see. We'll see it all kind of turns out. Anyway, guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Life 360 Tile Trackers. With the holidays right around the corner, it's all about family, fun, and of course, keeping track of everything while traveling or hosting. For me, that's where Life 360's Tile Trackers are an absolute lifesaver. These little things help keep the holiday stress in check. Whether I'm tracking my keys, wallet, or even our luggage when we travel, Tile Trackers make it easy to keep tabs on everything important. Just open the Tile app to ring it when it's nearby, or track down its location on the map if it's a bit farther. I had mentioned this one time I went to a poker tournament in Vegas, and I keep everything, my wallet, my tablet, and stuff like that, in this satchel backpack of mine, and I thought I lost it. I went crazy for hours until I finally realized I had left it in the car. If I had had Tile Tracker, it would have made my life a lot simpler. And here's one of the things I love about Tile. Tile syncs with Life 360, so I can see the location of my family members and all of our tiled items in one spot. So make your holidays a little less stressful and family-proof your season with Life 360's Tile Trackers. Visit tile.com and use the code Campea to get 15% off. That's tile.com. Use the code Campea. Question is for you. What do you think about this? His director, his co-stars are now like just raving about David as our new Superman. Of course, to me, my boy Henry. Henry is the greatest Superman of all time, in my opinion. But because he was so great, it makes me even more excited to see the next iteration of what they're going to do. Where's your hype level at right now? Are you excited? Are you skeptical about the movie? That's fair if you are. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.